Hey guys, Jennifer here with the Family Fudge and welcome to Bunches of Lunches. This week, since the kids are on Christmas break, I thought it would be really fun to do a lunch challenge inspired by the guys over on the channel Family Fun Pack. For our version of this challenge, I'm going to be making each of my kids their own special lunch. But everything in their lunch needs to be a food that starts with the first letter of their name. Now, for some of the kids, there were a lot of food options that started with the first letter of their name. Some of my kids, putting together a lunch was actually a challenge. And you guys, afterwards, the kids are gonna let us know whether they like the lunch or not. So stay tuned and I'll show you what I came up with. Okay guys, so for today's video, I'm going from oldest to youngest, and that means Mackenzie's up first. And surprisingly, there's actually quite a few foods that start with the letter M that my kids actually like to eat. So this is definitely one of my easier lunches to put together. So for Mackenzie's lunch, I'm going to start by making the main course first. And for this, I'm going to need some ground turkey. I'm also going to need some muffin tins because I'm going to throw together some mini meatloaf muffins. Now that's a lot of M's, so they will be perfect for this lunch today. For these mini meatloafs, I'm going to start by adding some silicone liners to my muffin pans. These guys are going to make cleanup so much easier. And you guys, I'm actually going to be doubling this recipe today because I want to make sure to have some leftovers for later. And this really is just a classic meatloaf recipe, except I'm using ground turkey instead of ground beef, and I'm also adding in just a little bit of shredded cheese. This recipe also calls for some finely diced onion and breadcrumbs. And you guys, check it out. This is the perfect opportunity to use up some of those bread crusts that I saved from last week's lunches. Now I keep these frozen, so I just take them out of the freezer. I just chop them up a little bit, and now they're going in the meatloaf. Now if you guys would like the full recipe for these, I will go ahead and link it down below so you can check it out. And I have to say that even my pickiest eaters will eat these little meatloafs. So now that I have all of my ingredients in my bowl, it's time to mix it all together. And usually when you're making meatloaf, the recipes say to mix it by hand, but since I just did my nails today, I'm going to go ahead and mix it up with a spoon instead. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of non-stick spray to my muffin tins because I want to be absolutely sure that nothing sticks. And then using my big ice cream scoop, I'm just going to scoop a little bit of the meat mixture into each little section. And I'm pressing down on each one of them just a little bit because I want to make sure that they cook evenly. So now just one more thing before I pop these into my oven. I am going to go ahead and squirt just a little bit of ketchup onto each little muffin. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I think that that ketchup glaze on top of the meatloaf is the best part. I'm going to go ahead and spread that ketchup out, and then I'm going to pop these into the oven at 375 for about 45 minutes. And you guys, this recipe makes 18 of these mini meatloaf muffins. Now to go along with the meatloaf muffins, I'm going to be adding another M food, which is some mac and cheese. Now this specific mac and cheese came from Trader Joe's, and it's really just your basic mac and cheese. You just prepare it like any other recipe. So while the mac and cheese and the meatloafs are cooking, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the fruit. So for Mackenzie's lunch today, I'm going with mango. All of my kids love mango. So I'm going to go ahead and just cube up this mango. Okay guys, so here it is. These mini meatloaf muffins look so good. And as seriously, you guys, my house is smelling so good right now. I'm just going to give each kid one little muffin. I'm also adding a little bit of ketchup on the side, just in case they might want to add a little bit extra to their meatloaf. I'm also adding in just a little bit of that mac and cheese, followed by the mango cubes. And then over in this corner, I'm adding some mixed vegetables. I just steamed these up and added a little bit of salt and pepper to them. And for Mackenzie's treat, she chose a mint flavored Milano cookie. If you guys have never tried these before, they are really good and super crispy. So I'm just gonna give each kid one of these cookies. And to complete Mackenzie's lunch, I'm gonna be adding some milk. Now you guys, let me know in the comments down below if you have a favorite food that starts with the letter M, because I'm sure you guys will come up with ideas that I didn't even think of, and I would love to know what you think. Okay, Kenzie, what was your favorite part and what was your least favorite part?
My favorite part was the mini meatloaf muffins, but my least favorite part was the mixed vegetables.
Next up, I'm going to be making Jackson's lunch. Now I have to say this one is a little bit more challenging to come up with enough J foods that he would actually want to eat. For the main course at least, I can make something I know he's gonna like. For this, I'm using some Jif peanut butter and some jam. And check it out, you guys. Yesterday I hit up some after Christmas sales and I came across this big container of over 100 cookie cutters. And what I'm most excited about is that this one also includes letters. So I'm going to be making these sandwiches into a Jack sandwich. Now to go along with this, I'm also going to be preparing a Jell-O salad. Now if you guys are from Utah, you'll probably know exactly what I mean when I say Jell-O salad, but if you've never had Jell-O salad before, even though it's called a salad, it's really just a dessert with fruit in it. So to prepare this, I'm going to go ahead and just follow the directions on my Jell-O box, and you really could use any flavor of Jell-O that you want. I'm just using strawberry today because that's what we really like. And because I want this Jell-O to set up as fast as it can, I'm using the quick set method. So I'm adding boiling water, I'll give it a stir, then I'm adding a little bit of ice water in there as well to help it cool down quicker. So now I'm going to pour this Jell-O mixture into a dish and then I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator until it's set. Next, I'm going to prepare some fruit to go in that Jell-O salad. And for today, I'm keeping it super simple. I'm just going to dice up a few strawberries, and then I'm also going to dice up some mandarin oranges. I think these are a delicious combination, and I did go ahead and cut them into fairly smaller pieces. So now to put this salad together, I'm just adding all of the fruit into a mixing bowl, followed by a couple tablespoons of Cool Whip, and then of course we have the Jell-O. And then I'm going to mix it all together. So this is a really delicious combination. So this salad is sweet and creamy and super fruity. So the next food I'm adding into this J-themed lunch is Jiffy Pop. Now Jiffy Pop really is just regular popcorn. The only difference is how you prepare it. Instead of sticking it in the microwave, you actually cook it on the stovetop. And the trick is that once it starts heating up, you have to shake it continuously back and forth, around and around, just to make sure that the popcorn doesn't actually burn. But I think burnt popcorn is the worst smell. So as the popcorn pops, it kind of expands the aluminum foil. And once it's done, you get to break it open. Okay, so now to put this lunch all together, I've added the sandwiches right on the bottom. Over in this section, I've added a little bit of the Jell-O salad. Believe me, a little bit of this goes a long way. And then over here, I was planning on adding in some jicama since I was having a really hard time coming up with a J-themed vegetable. But you guys, I actually went to 3 different grocery stores in my area and they did not have any jicama at all. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that. Instead, I'll just add in the Jiffy Pop right here. And then in this last section, I'm just going to be adding in some Jack cheese. Now I did go ahead and cut this with my crinkle cutter just to make it look really fun. And then lastly, for Jackson's lunch, I also want to add in some juice. And to go along with the J theme, I decided to go with the Yoda top since he is a Jedi after all. And there you have it. There's everything in Jackson's lunch. And again, you guys let me know in the comments down below if you can think of any more J-themed foods, because this one was kind of a challenge for me. Now let's see what Jackson thought. Okay, Jack, what was your favorite part and what was your least favorite part?
My favorite part was probably the Jell-O.
The Jell-O, yeah. What about your least favorite?
The cheese wasn't my favorite.
Okay guys, next up we have Lily's lunch. Now this definitely is another challenge for me to come up with L foods that Lily would actually want to eat. She does tend to be one of my pickier eaters. So when planning this lunch, I gave her an option between linguine noodles or a lettuce wrap. But for today, I'm using the green leaf variety. So to make this wrap, I'm going to start by adding 3 pieces of lettuce, and I'm kind of overlapping these a little bit. Next, I'm going to be adding a couple slices of smoked turkey, followed by a couple pieces of bacon. Then I'm going to top it off with some of my homemade ranch dressing. So as you can tell, I'm going with a turkey bacon ranch flavor for this wrap. And then lastly, before I wrap it up, I'm also sprinkling on just a little bit of shredded cheddar cheese. And then basically I'm just rolling this up exactly like I would a burrito. So I'm tucking the edges in and then rolling it up as tightly as I can. To keep this from falling apart, I'm also adding in a few little sandwich picks. And to make it easier for her to eat, I'm going to cut it in half. Now check it out, you guys. That is one good looking lettuce wrap. So the next L food I'm adding into Lily's lunch is lime yogurt. Now this is actually a key lime chobani flip yogurt. So on one side is the Greek yogurt, and on the other side there are toppings that include white chocolate chips and graham cracker crumbles. Next up, another L food that Lily loves, and that is Lay's potato chips. And instead of just getting the regular traditional Lay's potato chips, I decided to go with these Lay's stacked potato chips. And these are kind of like a Pringle knockoff, I would say. So I'm just going to be adding a few of these right over here. Now I'm not going to be adding any more vegetables to this lunch since there's actually a lot of lettuce in our lettuce wrap. I'm going to move on to the sweet treat. For Lily's lunch today, I'm going to be adding a lemon flavored cookie. Now we've never actually tried these ones before, but the package says that they are a soft frosted lemon cookie, and I think they look really cute in that flower shape. So I'm just going to add one single cookie right in the center. And then last but not least, for Lily's drink, I'm going to be adding in some lemonade. Hey Lily, what'd you think?
It was good.
What was your favorite part?
The yogurt, the lace, and the flour cookie.
What was your least favorite part?
Salad.
The wrap, yeah. She did pretty good, but this won't go to waste. I will definitely save this for later.
See you later.
Okay guys, now that brings me to Griffin's lunch. And thankfully this one wasn't quite as hard as the J or the L lunch. I was able to come up with several different options of G foods, and more importantly, foods that I think that Griffin would actually want to eat. So for Griffin's lunch, the first G food I'm gonna put together is a grilled cheese sandwich. And I'm going to use my panini press for this because it's my favorite way of making grilled cheese. And since this is a G themed lunch, I thought it would be really fun to use some Gouda cheese. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sprinkle a little bit right onto the bread. And then whenever I make a grilled cheese sandwich, I usually put at least 2 different types of cheese. So even though it doesn't start with the letter G, I'm also gonna be adding in just 1 slice of cheddar cheese as well. I'll add my other slice of bread, and when it's nice and toasty and the cheese is melted, it's ready to go. Now to make this a little bit easier for Griffin to eat, we'll go ahead and cut this into triangles. And would you check out all that Gouda cheese? It's super melty and delicious. So now that that's done, I'm going to move on to this Granny Smith apple. Granny Smith apples are nice and green and tart, but instead of just adding it to the lunch as is, I'm going to dress it up just a bit. For this, I'm going to start by slicing the apple just like this. I want to have nice big rings of apple here. And then you'll notice I didn't start by coring this apple. And that's because I'm actually going to use a little star-shaped cookie cutter to remove this part of the apple. Next, I'm going to quickly dip each slice of apple in a little bit of water mixed with lemon juice. This is going to help our apple stay nice and fresh and not turn brown. Next, I'm going to take each apple slice and I'm going to spread just a little bit of peanut butter on top, which I know doesn't technically start with G, but that's okay, because what I'm putting on top definitely does start with the letter G, and that's going to be a little bit of this granola. This is a protein-packed granola, and there's also lots of little chocolate chips in there. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of this granola on top of the apple. It's going to stick to that peanut butter, and it's going to be such a delicious combination. So now that the grilled cheese sandwich and the Granny Smith apple are ready, I'm going to add in some green beans. These are just steamed green beans that I also added a little bit of salt to. Then over in this section, I'm also going to be adding in some goldfish crackers. These are the whole grain cheddar flavored ones. I know Griffin will be excited to see these. He loves goldfish. And speaking of goldfish, for our sweet treat, I have a different kind I'm going to be adding. These goldfish are actually graham crackers. Well, chocolate graham crackers to be exact. And in this package, there's also little fish-shaped marshmallows as well. I'm just going to add a handful of these right into this middle section. And then the very last thing I'm adding into the G-themed lunch is going to be a grape juice box. And there you have it. There's everything in the G-themed lunch. Okay, what do you think, Griffin? What was your favorite thing?
The graham crackers, but not these.
The graham crackers, but not these? Did you eat any of these?
No.
Did you try them?
No.
No, you don't like green beans? Did you like your sandwich?
Yeah, I like my two cheese sandwiches.
Yeah, did you share them with your brother?
Uh-huh.
And your sister?
And Gaston ate this one, Joey ate this one, and yeah.
You shared with the kids. That was nice. Did you eat your apple?
No, don't take one part, so we're going to eat this part, and then have that tonight and that.
Okay. Do you give this lunch a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Good job.
Hello.
Say bye.
Bye. Next one walks in. See you next time.
Okay guys, now don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it and hit that red subscribe button if you're new.